Hello and thank you for joining us on the Monday edition of Journalist Hangout. I am Benga Oreshegun. Today on the program, APC apparatchik overwhelms Obaseki as INEC returns Okpebholo as Edo State Governor. APC stalwart Dominic Alancha urges Governor Alia to unify party in Benue State, describes the factionalization of the party in the state as unfortunate. And later on the show, veteran journalists, friends, admirers and family members celebrate Citizen Jones' 50 unbroken years as a broadcaster in Nigeria. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Utitoju and Chris Kennedy Nwadu. Journalist Hangout starts right now. Now let's begin the conversation. Victory, they say, is sweet, and the ruling All Progressives Congress APC is celebrating another victorious feat. Its candidate in the just concluded 2024 governorship elections in Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebholo, clinched victory by defeating the influence of the ruling party in the state. The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC announced Okpebholo's victory after a tightly contested race, which saw the APC reclaim power from the People's Democratic Party PDP in the South states. Okpebholo banked on the APC's apparatchik to get the victory, which comes as a major blow to the outgoing Governor Godwin Obaseki, whose 8-year tenure will officially end on the 12th of November. Now let's share that moment when INEC returning officer Professor Farouk Kuta declared Okpebholo winner of the election.
Party APC, 291,667 votes. Party ABGA, 1,242 votes. Party APM, 151 votes. That Okpebholo Monday of APC, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
All right, BK, let's begin the conversation. Let's start like this. Looking at the off-cycle election in Edo State, let's start with your general thoughts on the outcome of the election, particularly the APC's victory.
I expected the APC victory. At least I told a lot of my friends that Obaseki will not survive it. The same way I said it was not going to be a three-horse race because the Labour Party will be completely blown out of the water. That's what happened. It's the election, like I said on Saturday morning air, was a referendum on the Obaseki years. If the people are happy with Obaseki, they will vote for his candidates. But Obaseki had offended too many people. You cannot, somebody who had not been in politics for so many years, who himself was a political nobody, thrusted onto the scene by a former governor of the state, suddenly started turning against the people who helped him to get there. They will wait for you. Look at what happened in Oredo, the biggest local government in the state. That is the home of the Benes. That's their ancestral home. Their Oba had been routinely disrespected by Obaseki. People talked about it. He was not going to listen. To vote for him will amount to diminishing their traditional right to vote for his candidates. Because let's face it, it was Obaseki that was on the ballot, metaphorically on the ballot. not physically on the ballot. So Aswell was not the person that people were really talking about.
It was
talking
the
about
governor.
Obaseki, yes. Now, in Oredo, the last time the APC won election in Oredo was in 2012, when Oshiomhole secured the second term by winning all 18 local governments in the state. Since then, they've not been able to take Oredo, because Oredo is the most cosmopolitan local government in the state. You have Igbos, you have Yorubas, these traders and all that. But in the end, they were able to take that state, take that local government. APC took that local government, largely because of some of the things we've talked about, the quarrel with the Oba and all that. I remember even when the Oba tried to intervene in the crisis between him and Oshiomhole, on one occasion, they were waiting. The rest of them were waiting at the palace. And he sent word to the palace that he was playing golf.
That is the height of the...
Now, you see, in politics, all of these things matter.
True, it does.
You were fighting party leaders. You quarreled with people like, from the APC where I came from, you quarreled with Oshiomhole and other. He was instrumental to Oshiomhole's removal as national chairman, because his colleague governors at that time ganged up against Oshiomhole. Yes, they ganged up against Oshiomhole because Oshiomhole quarreled with one of their own. Invariably, Oshiomhole was removed as party, as national chairman, you know, and they put a caretaker committee in place. That's not all. When he got to the PDP, he fought with the legacy members of the party, people who were foundation members of the party, Dan Obi, the rest of them. There is Obede, the Hammer, you know, a former House of Reps member. These were leaders of the party. He fought against them. And they were just looking at him. Look at the number of lawmakers that he blocked from coming into the assembly.
That was a major factor as well.
Those people, in Oredo alone, there were 2 lawmakers that he stopped them from representing their people for 4 years. You think those constituents will be happy? Of course, they will work against you. The way he humiliated Oshiomhole and proceeded to humiliate the deputy, his deputy, Philip Shaibu. It got so bad that there was a Christian Thanksgiving that they were doing, and they wanted to say hello to his boss. And the security people stopped him from having a mere handshake at a spiritual event. He banished him from government house, took him far away from government house. He said, go and put your office will be here. He agreed to go there. The humiliation of the 2 sons of Edo North, Oshiomhole and Philip Shaibu, is one reason the people of Edo North came out in high numbers, the way they had never, because they felt, look, this person disgraced our most prominent sons.
So it's time for us to
time for us to repay him. No election in our country can be perfect, at least for now. I'm not going to say that, oh, the election was perfect. As I said here, I said Edo governorship election will set a record in terms of vote buying. I said in Edo State they will give voters as much as 20,000. Go and ask those who are there. They were giving people 20,000 naira to vote. That's not what we want to see. That's weaponizing poverty in a very cruel manner. That happened. There were also issues about transparency in the area of collation and all that. But you can't take away the fact that in spite of everything, the people's wish prevailed. We can talk for the whole day about electoral integrity and all that. The people's will prevailed in Edo State. And the streets of Edo today are calm. APC won 11 local governments
Out of 18.
18. PDP took 7. Apart from that, the candidate of the APC, in terms of percentage, let me even see what percentage is scored. He got 56% of the total votes.
Well, PDP got
yes, while PDP got 35.
35.
You know, that is significant enough. What matters is for the wish of the people to prevail. When you put everything together, I think Obaseki even tried. But
So it's all about the many sins of the governor and the people
the determination of the APC to take the state. You cannot. It wasn't like the last one. That last one,
Okay.
the governors of the APC ganged up against their own party.
Oh dear.
Yes, the chairman of the campaign
Okay.
at that time was the former governor of Kano State. It got so bad that the former governor of Kano State, Ganduje, started calling his colleagues one by one. He said, "Oh, I didn't know that this was the plan. You people came here to work against our party. I should have stayed back in Kano and spent 2 weeks here. Well, look at what you guys are doing." They can't deny. Even Baba Ganduje can't say I lied. I know that was what happened. He was calling his colleagues, so you should have told me that this is the plan. That the plan is to sabotage our
sabotage
party.
the party.
But this time around, 10 governors.
They came together in unity.
The Senate president. That underlines the seriousness with which they took
This election.
that election. That was absent
In the last
4 years ago. That was absent 4 years ago when they worked against their party and misled the then president. You know, that don't worry, Obaseki will come back to our party once he wins.
Some have said that, the last time the Wike factor also really played a role.
And Wike was in PDP.
Yeah,
he wanted his party to
exactly. You say
this time around, this governor and Wike, they are no longer
they are
friends.
no longer
They've been
friends.
abusing one another.
True.
So you expect that Wike will not support him. In fact, he will work behind the scene to make sure that his candidate does not prevail. And I believe that was what happened at the end of the day.
All right, CKN, let me come to you. The APC, the apparatchik, or the structure. How do you think the APC used it to turn the tide against the PDP in this off-cycle election?
Yes, let me start from where PKO stopped. You talked about Obaseki being the one that is on the ballot. It was a two-horse race. It wasn't only Obaseki. Adams Oshimole was also on the ballot. Those are the two people that were on the ballot.
Okay.
So, if you understand what I mean, because it became a battle of wits between Adams Oshimole and Governor Obaseki. If you see all the campaign or you notice all the campaigns, most of the candidates were not the one talking. It was Obaseki that was practically speaking for Aswe, and Adams Oshimole that was speaking for Monday. So the two candidates were just like pawns in a chess board. Now the issue was to find out who is the ultimate godfather when, as far as this election was concerned. So it wasn't only Obaseki. Yes, Obaseki, on the fact that for 8 years he has been the governor of Edo State and he'll be judged by what he did. But Adams Oshomole, also like in that book, Shylock, Merchant of Venice, you remember by Macbeth, where he said that you can take your pound of flesh, but no single blood must drop. That was Shylock. Okay, so it was Adams Oshomole, and at the end of it all, Adams prevailed. But my own particular issue here is that yes, BKO has analyzed the sins of Obaseki, as it were, how he came from APC, was sent away from APC, came to PDP, and practically took over the party. They practically handed him over the ticket of the party in his first term. And all those that worked for PDP, they are supposed to be... in short, a lot of people within the PDP were not happy with what PDP did by handing over that ticket, because it's just about a few weeks to the election when they gave Obaseki that. But they were able to give it to him. But at the end of it, what did he do? He decided to just sit in them, fought with a lot of them that not be up to his deputy, as he said. But my own area I'm going at is that the average Nigerian politician, when they, there is what is called Nigerian politics. When they go to read that politics 101, as it were, Nigerian politics, there are 3 factors that they hold and they learn. The first one is rigging. Perfect. How you can be able to rig. The second is thuggery. How you can be able to use your thugs to be able to make sure that you suppress the other and overwhelm. The third one is buying of votes. Before, it wasn't as bad as it. I remember in the early days where they used to put 100 naira. BK with it. Inside bread. Agege bread. It was agege that was very popular. They put 100 naira. I came to serve people bread. When you open it, you eat the bread, you also eat it. 50 naira. But now they have taken it to the next level. That as much as each of the party did this, APC did it at the last election, PDP did it.
They all do it. Huh?
They all do it. Even the little labor that it's just that it doesn't have the way with that. I'm sure that in certain areas also. Yeah. Then the last one they learn is judicial manipulation.
Let's go to court.
Go to court. So those 4 factors are those are the things that determine Nigerian election. But going to this election, the conduct, I am personally highly disappointed by the turnout. The turnout, from the figure we've gotten now, is that the turnout in last Saturday's election was 24% out of registered voters. In 2020, it was 27%.
Even lesser.
Yes, it's lesser. So even when we talk about...
responsible for that? Was it the rhetoric that was...
Rhetoric, education, threat of violence. It could be so many things.
And it was a rainy day.
And it was also, it was also a rainy day. Okay. But even at that, when it's raining, anybody that is determined to come and vote, whether rain or snow, will go out. So those are the areas that I am particular about. But the issue, then, one area I will want to commend INEC, although they also had their issues. The issue of the IREF, the speed at which those results were uploaded. In fact, when I heard that, when I went to, and I saw 65%, I said it's not possible. In the next 30 minutes, 40 minutes, it's into 80, 85, 90, and I was shocked. But the fact is that when you now start having issues, that when they start having dispute, we are certain individuals start saying, oh no, like the PDP say, no, what was on the other was not. And we saw discrepancies where some individuals, now that brings INEC to question integrity. And let me end with this. There was somebody that INEC came out to say one of his officers was seen or was challenged or was accused of manipulating one of these things. The question I want to ask, I don't know whether an action has been taken. An investigation was to be conducted. I don't know whether now INEC has come out to tell us what actually, because if they don't, that in itself will add to a lot of this thing. Then finally, Yaga Africa came out this afternoon. You know Yaga?
Yeah, I know.
They came out this afternoon about about 30 minutes an hour ago to give their own report. And let me just give it.
CK, we are still going to talk about Yaga and...
No, let me tell you.
Okay.
Why are some of these? So that when we are saying that, if we are saying INEC performed, we also have to know that there is an election coming again. In Ondo, very, very key. The issue of logistics was a big problem. I'm not talking about who won or who didn't win. I'm giving the processes that, because materials did not arrive certain areas until late in the day.
CK, let me just hold your thought there. But BK, did INEC pass the integrity test of democracy in your opinion?
For now, I do not have any reason to say they didn't pass the integrity test.
What are your reasons?
I've not seen clear evidence of manipulation of the results in favor of a party. If I see it, I can then say, oh, they failed the test. I have not seen it. I do not form my opinion based simply on what people are saying on social media. I will be very stupid to form opinion based on what I see.
Hearsay.
Yes, because even on occasions when we try to run with some of those things, we look stupid. I am not a journalist who will sit in the studio and begin to analyze what he saw on social media that he had not confirmed.
Sure.
For example, when they said, oh, UAE, they told Nigerians that if you want visa, this is how much you pay. Some people took it to TV stations to analyze, ran with it. We refused to do that. Was it not confirmed to be fake news the next day? So until I see cast iron evidence, because our name is at stake.
Sure.
Until I see cast iron evidence of manipulation, I will not come here and say, oh, INEC failed. Even if INEC fails to perform up to the extent that we expect it to perform, it is the politicians.
That should be.
We were on an election night. I remember one politician arrested ad hoc staff, impounded ballot materials. That was in 2019 or so. And then I came on here and I said, if we have security people in our country, if our soldiers are useful people, go to that big politician and effect the release of the ballot materials and the youth corps members that he impounded. Because INEC at that time tracked their vehicles. So the moment he hijacked those vehicles,
they knew where they
yes, an alarm was raised. I'm just telling you the extent to which politicians go to manipulate the process and make INEC look bad.
So it's not just about INEC.
No. It's the person who... Okay, look, this one that I'm talking to you about, why would anybody go and hijack ballot materials and innocent corps member? He wanted to threaten them, put guns to their heads so that they would do his bidding. Why did INEC have to come up with a rule now, which is in the Electoral Act, that it can review its own election result that it had announced? Why? Because politicians will go into the collation center, hijack the returning officer and say, read this.
Read this, and you read
And
it
once
under
he reads
duress.
it, under duress, it happened in Imo.
Yeah, we heard Imo State.
It happened in Rivers. I remember those cases. Now, once they read it, and the person takes a certificate of return, only the court of law can take that certificate of return from him. So INEC now has the power to say, okay, that result that we read yesterday, we have reviewed it. This is the correct result. That effectively takes care of those who put guns to the head of INEC returning officers and say, oh yeah, read this. And people at home will not know. People at home will not know that somebody went into a collation center and put a gun to the head of
and the person read it under duress.
Yes, they won't know.
Okay, BK, let's look at the issue of logistics. The fact that election does not start and this logistic INEC does not get to the polling station at the right time, does it cast aspersion on the election? Or does it benefit some parties or?
No. Whoever thinks like that is ridiculous. The NURTW are the ones who help INEC to move ballot materials from polling center to polling center. There could be disagreement over how much you pay me. Remember that the budget had been done a long time ago, and recently fuel prices went up.
Sure.
So those things will cause INEC to spend more money. Those things will generate argument and disagreement between the people helping them with logistics and all. Thank God, Edo is not a particularly big state. You know, if it was some big states like Cross River, like Kaduna, like Taraba, where you could be traveling for 8 hours within a state, those logistic problems will really come up. So it's not when ballot materials don't get to location.
It's not really the fault of INEC.
And INEC, even when it happened in Edo State, INEC decided to extend the voting time. So when they extend the voting time, no particular party has been favored.
Okay. All right, BK, just hold that thought. We'll still come back to this conversation. The conversation continues right after this time out. It's still Journalist Hangout.